It was so close, just a little more, and Ning Qiushui would have died at the hands of that terrifying woman. If not for Liu Chengfeng rushing forward at the critical moment with the blood jade, sacrificing his life to help, Ning Qiushui would have been doomed. Thank you. Ning Qiushui sat cross-legged on the ground, one hand propping up his knee as he gasped for breath. That had truly been a perilous moment. Liu Chengfeng, still trembling, patted his shaking leg and shook his head. No, I should be the one thanking you, brother. If you hadn't brought me here, I'd have been eaten by that terrifying woman sooner or later anyway. After saying that, he suddenly laughed again, the uncontrollable joy of narrowly escaping death bursting out of him. Liu Chengfeng laughed like a madman sprawling on the ground, and only after a long while did he regain his composure. Right, brother, what about the others? After checking the old woman's body and confirming the talisman was intact, and she was in no danger, Liu Chengfeng turned to Ning Qiushui and asked. Ning's eyes flickered slightly. We absolutely can't go out now. It's far too dangerous outside. Tomorrow we'll see if we can contact them from the 3rd floor. If it doesn't work out, well, we've already done all we could. To Ning Qiushui, the thought of strangers dying didn't seem to carry much weight. Of course, he didn't mind lending a hand, especially since he bore no grudge against them. But the premise was clear. He would never put himself at risk. After all, when he had asked those people earlier if they were willing to join him in uncovering the truth, not one of them had stepped forward. They wanted others to take the risks while they reaped the rewards. Who would be willing to tolerate that? He was no great saint who would sacrifice himself for everyone. Brother, I've got another question. Having mostly recovered, Liu Chengfeng suddenly seemed to recall something. How did you know about the killing rules of that ghostly thing in the villa? At this, Ning Qiushui fell silent in the darkness for a long time. Finally, he said slowly, because before I got on the bus, I received an anonymous letter. It contained a photo and a few words. He then recited them softly. Do not light lamps in the wind. Do not burn candles in the rain. Do not climb stairs by day. Do not open eyes by night. Liu Chengfeng's eyes widened in shock, his face filled with disbelief. Holy crap, that matches perfectly. Brother, you must have some great master guiding you. Then that photo? He asked eagerly. Ning Qiushui gave him a sidelong glance, his eyes shifting slightly. You want to know? Liu Chengfeng straightened his expression. Is it inconvenient? If so. Before he could finish, Ning Qiushui reached into his checkered shirt and slowly pulled out an old, yellowed photograph, holding it up so the front faced Liu Chengfeng. The photograph, on it was no one else but Liu Chengfeng himself. The two men stared at each other, separated only by that thin piece of paper, silent for a long time. Liu Chengfeng saw his own image on the photo, but he didn't see the words written on the back. Yes, on the back of that yellowed old photo there was a line of black text. A friend worth trusting, but 10,000 wise. Liu Chengfeng reached out his hand, wanting to take the photo and examine it closely, but Ning Qiushui withdrew it first, smiling as he said, Surprising, isn't it? I was just as surprised. At first, I thought this was just some prank, or maybe the sender got the recipient wrong. But when I woke up on that bus and saw you, I realized things weren't as simple as I thought. That driverless bus, that mysterious fog, that eerie blood-red door, and all of us passengers. Behind all of this, there must be an unseen hand pulling the strings. Hearing this, Liu Chengfeng gave a bitter smile. Brother, to be honest, I doubt there's anyone in the real world who could do all this. You saw what's happening outside. These things, they're beyond human capability. Ning Qiushui fell silent. He didn't continue arguing. But up to now, everything written in that mysterious letter had come true. The strange bloodgate, the bizarre killing rules, and even a friend he didn't know, willing to risk his life to save him. It was terrifying, as though someone unseen was watching him from the shadows at every moment. The night passed in silence. Neither of them had really slept, and after the tension of last night, exhaustion came crashing down like a tide, until the early morning when a shrill, miserable scream echoed from the 2nd floor, shattering the villa's silence. Clearly someone had died again. But what terrified the survivors on the 2nd floor wasn't just waking to find another person dead. It was that 3 people had gone missing. Among them was none other than Ning Qiushui, the backbone in everyone's eyes and another key task-bearer. After all, the Bloodgate had given them the mission of caring for the bedridden old man for 5 days. Now the old man was gone. What was there left to care for, listening to the shouts from the second? He had been eaten alive, weeping, sobbing. They're gone. All gone. Were they all eaten already? I'm so scared. I don't want to die here. The broken cries of Yan Yuping drifted up from below. Liu Chengfeng shouted loudly at the window, trying to pass a message down, but it was as if their voices were bound to the third floor. No matter how hoarse he screamed, no one below could hear. No one would come to help. Enough! Stop howling! Ning Qiushui shook his head slightly, watching Liu Chengfeng refuse to give up. Liu Chengfeng felt uncomfortable at Ning Qiushui's cold indifference. There are 2 living people down there. If we just abandon them like this, don't you think that's too?